My name is Celeste and I am the creator of the Kitchen Coach. Today I'm going to show you how to make a coconut curry in a doggone hurry in under 30 minutes. This is a delicious and very versatile dish that can be served over quinoa, brown rice, sweet potatoes. Baked sweet potatoes is my favorite version. But it's all around one of those meals that you want to have for those nights that you don't have much time, but you still want to eat something extremely nourishing and tasty. I want to show you first how to dice an onion and a red pepper in a way that's convenient and fast. Cooking's a lot faster when you are good at cutting onions. So let's hop to it.
The cool thing about this recipe is it can be very versatile depending on what you have. I'm using some chickpeas, regular full-fat coconut milk, better than bouillon paste, that Thai green curry, you can get red curry too, broccoli, kale, red pepper, ginger, onion, garlic, and lime juice. The more often you chop onions, the easier it gets. So using a sharp knife, cut it in half so it's not rolling around on you. I like to cut off one end so it's easy to pull off that outer skin. I leave the root on so it's easier to hold on to. So just with that sharp knife, put slices right through, making sure that you're stabilizing the slices so they stay together. Twist the onion and cut on a 45-degree angle, cutting into the onion. This makes perfect dicing. So flip it around instead of continuing to chop through. On the other side, do the same thing. That angle on the knife will make perfect diced onions. Doing this with a sharp knife is really important. So with red peppers, I like to flip them upside down and cut in their crevices. This makes getting the seeds out nicely instead of making it all messy. So then it's easy to just chop them right off without getting the seeds everywhere. Would you look at that? So then, similar to the onion, we're going to cut them into strips first. And instead of doing it on the shiny side, I like the textured side. It makes it easier to chop. So then keeping them together and tucking those little knuckles back, just chop right into diced form. When I became fast enough at cutting my onions, I usually get my pan heated up while my onions are being cut. This makes it much smoother when you're putting together your meals. So feel free to get out a big skillet, one that has a lid preferably, and turn your heat on to about medium-high. Have a little cup of water if you're trying to do oil-free cooking, so then you can saute your onions. I also like opening my can of coconut milk so I can use some of that juice instead of just water for more flavor. Same with the chickpea. I like to use the chickpea liquid or aquafaba instead of using oil. So I like to keep those right by the pan. So if the pan gets sticky or needs some liquid, I have them right there, either water, chickpea liquid, or the coconut milk to splash in to my onions so they don't stick. Aquafaba is a great replacement for oil if you're trying to cut down on your overt fats. We have so much coconut milk in this recipe, we really don't need more oil in this. So getting out the garlic is easy, and getting that peel off is easy when you can just smash the garlic on the side with the side of your knife and the heel of your hand, and that paper comes off quite easily. So remember to tuck back your knuckles while you're mincing your garlic, and just take the time to mince it well so you can get that flavor all throughout your dish. So you're going to want to go back through and just chop a few times through to make sure that you're getting all those delicious pieces of garlic that are anti-inflammatory and antifungal all over your dish. You want to get it in every single bite. So I like to just keep an eye on my pan while I'm chopping my garlic. We want to cook these onions and red pepper for about 8 minutes to get them nice and sweet and browned. So just keep an eye on your pan and add liquid as needed. You can see here I'm just using the aquafaba liquid. So now I'm heading back over to mince or to grate some ginger. So I want about the size of my thumb. It'll be about a tablespoon minced or grated. And just use a peeler and peel away from yourself. And it makes it really easy when you have a nice, even cheap peeler. Take a little hand grater and grate that ginger. You could chop it too, but it's much faster if you use the grater to do this. Grated ginger is also really good for digestion, anti-inflammatory. It adds such delicious flavor, but it's also medicinal. It helps ease the inflammation in our joints and in our muscles. Same with these dark leafy greens. So as my onions continue to cook, I'm doing the rest of the prep for the recipe, so it doesn't feel like I'm wasting time waiting for those onions to cook. So you can see I'm just ripping off the leaf, the kale off of the stem, and then I'm going to put it into a ball so I can chop it up. We want nice bite-sized pieces. It looks like a lot of kale, but it cooks down, so it's not a big bulky part of the meal. It really adds good texture and an immense amount of nourishment. Same with broccoli. I like to cut from the stems from below. And then I take the florets and kind of cut them in X's almost. So you want to have bite-sized pieces and taking the time to make these good bite-sized pieces so it's easier. So the onions look about done. They're translucent, almost starting to brown. I'm adding the tablespoon of ginger and tablespoon of garlic and mixing up. So we want the garlic to be a little toasted but not burnt. That's why we always cook the onions first, because onions take a lot longer. So we're going to cook the ginger and the garlic for about 2 minutes. In the meantime, you can get your curry paste and your Better Than Bouillon paste out. We're going to be putting in 3 tablespoons of this curry paste. This adds so much flavor and takes a lot of time out from, not needing to get out your mortar and pestle. Mortar and pestle? Pestle? I don't know what that word is, but you know what I mean. It's nice to have somewhat convenience and great flavor adding in. So see, I'm using a little of that coconut milk to kind of mix up this curry paste. And I'm going to turn this down. I don't want to burn what I'm cooking. So I'm just going to scoop in about a teaspoon of the Better Than Bouillon. This is going to add more flavors. Also has salt in there, and it takes need away from having to add more salt in the end of the dish, unless you like more salt. So I'm just combining this well, adding a little bit more coconut milk just to really bring out the flavors in that curry paste and kind of heat them up, melding all these flavors together. So now I'd like to add the 3 cups of chopped broccoli, mixing this well so the flavor can get all around those florets of broccoli. And then you can go ahead and dump the rest of the can of coconut milk in, combining really well, making sure you get all combined. And then add in a 1/2 cup of water. And then you can let this simmer, and you can put it up to high and let that broccoli kind of steam up with the rest of the flavors. So we need some tanginess in this. We have a lot of fatty and we got some good flavors, but we need a bright kind of tang to this. So we're going to put in a 1/2 of a lime, juice from 1/2 of a lime. And you can always add more, but I noticed that it's a strong flavor. You don't want it to be prominent. You want it to be just kind of a subtle little tang. So you're going to mix the lime up in here. And since kale is the fastest cooking thing in this recipe, we're going to wait till the last couple minutes to put it in. So just combine this really well, add the chickpeas. You can rinse off your chickpeas or you can use that chickpea liquid. That's really great brine. It adds a nice richness, a thickness to this dish, and it's nice to not have to dirty another colander. So you're going to let that steam up for around 5 minutes or so. It depends on how done you like your broccoli. I like it tender, not crunchy, but tender. And this looks about done. Super delicious. Now I'll taste test it and see if it needs anything. You can always add more salt or a little bit more lime if you like. And then serve it with some brown rice or quinoa or over a sweet potato. You can even make a coconut curry burrito. You can wrap it up in a tortilla. I just love that coconut curry broth. It's just so delicious and warming and nourishing. Think about all these colors and flavors and the amount of vitamins and minerals and fiber you're getting in this meal.
So there you have it, a curry in a doggone hurry.